Everyone. So I figured come on here for a few minutes. Just waiting for my beautiful sister to be free because I delayed our gathering today by a good hour and a bit because I need to go see my doctor. And so I'm just waiting until she's available. So I figured come on here and share a song, maybe two, it's hard to say. Just waiting for her to respond. Let me know when she's available. So here's this one. Here we go. Sorry, everyone. Gotta go. Anyway, hugs and loves. Okay.
There we go.
Playing a little bit of phone tag here.
Yeah, I had to disconnect my messenger because I had people calling me in the middle of the night.
Oh shit! Don't you?
Like old friends, they'd be drunk trying to call me 4
Yep.
o'clock in the morning.
Yep. Yep. I get it. I'm just going to switch you over to my system here. I should switch over. Let's see here.
So how are you?
I'm way better now. Yeah, to fill you in, because I can't fill people in on something I don't know what it is, right? But what happened, this has been going on for me for a couple of months, and I have this incredible personal friend, which just so happens to be a medical intuitive and on and on and on. And, she's the only one who truly knows what goes on with me on a day-to-day basis. And on Thursday, it got, like, it's been too much now for a couple of weeks. It's been this way for a couple of months, but the last couple of weeks has just been intense. Of course, we got the Lionsgate, we got all this fucking shit that's happening, right? And figure out what's what side is up, which side is down, blah, blah, blah. And so, long story short, was I reached out to, I called them the Three Amigos. I nicknamed them that, which they know now it's me that's nicknamed them the Three Amigos. They're going like, who the hell gave us that name? It was me, right? Because it's better than saying Devin, Rick, Purcell, Phil Burrows. Well, the Three Amigos, they always work together. And so I reached out to them, and they got me in later that day on Thursday. I also reached out to my doctor. I need to see somebody. I can't wait a week because whatever's going on is now. And so when I saw Deb, Rick, and Phil later on Thursday, um, I'm so grateful for this amazing community that we were all a part of, right? Because the more we connect with each other, we're finding our tribe, our true tribe, not So while I was on with Deb, Rick, and Phil, Deb says, "Did you bring a picture, a used picture into your home?" I go, "No," because I'm very careful on that shit, right? And she kept on digging at it, like, there's something you've brought into your home that's affecting what's going on. So then all of a sudden, my tribe says to me, that book, which I took from the hallway where I live and brought it into my home. And so I got the book, they scanned it, and they went, that, first of all, it's not a very good book, number one. Number two, whoever had it has really bad energy, and you brought all that energy into your home. I went, oh, fuck. And I could feel it was truth, because you know how it works within. So I said, give me 2 seconds. I got to get this thing out of my home now. So I took it back out to the hallway. And I could feel the energy already starting to shift. Then what they also did was last August, like, of course, I wanted to go to Soulogy Fest in the Ozark Mountains, and then a couple weeks before the festival, Spirit said, "Okay, it's time. You are going." I went, "Okay," but I had to get the vaccine, right? Again, the Three Amigos. I reached out to Phil just privately, and for him to remove this fucking shit out of me. And that's the thing about us knowing these people, right? So Phil removed it, and then Phil says, "You had the vaccine last year." I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I removed it." I go, "Yeah, you did." Well, there's something there, and he didn't say it was the vaccine remainder of the vaccine, but there was something that got attached to me. He found it, he removed it, and I feel better. It's, yeah, so it's I'm just, like, I was drained that day because it's been nothing but emotions for how many ever days it's been. And so when I woke up yesterday morning, I was able to start breathing because I can't breathe. When I get disconnected from me, I cannot breathe. I can't hear you. I don't know why. Nope, I still can't hear you. You got yourself muted? Hold on, hold on.
I don't think
Okay,
so.
no, it's not you. It was my end. I had turned down my volume on my mixer here.
Oh, can you
But,
hear me now?
oh yeah, I can hear you perfectly
Oh,
fine.
okay.
My apologies.
No, I was just saying I totally understand that. Like, because when I have this anxiety and all these powerful emotions, I can't breathe either. Like I feel like I can't catch my breath,
Yeah, and
and that's the most important thing. So then I breathe deeply into the diaphragm and get my breath to that point, because the shallow breaths, like I'm trying to breathe, like that makes the anxiety worse. So then I can just slow down and kind of breathe into my diaphragm, and then get back into my breath and just focus on my breath,
yeah.
you know?
Well, I couldn't even do that. That's what I'm saying. Like I could not breathe into my heart, and
Oh, that's probably because the block, whatever the thing was a
exactly,
prevention.
it was preventing. And I did an experiment with myself a couple weeks ago. Like, where am I? Because you know yourself, when you have that awareness of who you truly are, and that when you're not there, you know when you're not there. And the more time you spend in that amazing energy, like you go, where am I? Because that is who we are.
Right.
And so I I went, okay, I'm going to pay attention to, because I felt that my guitar was still connected to me. And I picked up my guitar. Yeah, that's the only place I could feel where I was connected to me. But I still couldn't really breathe into my heart space. I was still connected to me. But so that reassured me personally that, okay, I'm still here. Something's interfering with this frequency. So
Mhm.
it's, and that's the thing about, now I'm out of it. I'm just sharing this knowledge and what I've gone through and what can happen to us. Not saying it is going to happen to us, but what can be going on. Because I know I'm not the only one that's feeling, we all know
Yeah.
we're all going through stuff. We understand that. We get that. But, as I shared with you, is me being off of these medications as of April this year, after being on them since 1996. You just think of how many years that is of having these drugs in my
Wow.
system,
Yeah.
and then coming off
You're
them.
off of them now, you said?
Oh fuck yeah! Oh no no, I got
Good
off
for
them.
you.
Yeah,
Good for you.
Spirit told me last October, okay, it's time you get off these things. Like I could feel it, and I was checking in with myself, and I was, no, I can do it now because I've tried a few times, and every time I tried, it was not good. Well, I wasn't ready.
Right.
And speaking of that, one of the best things, I haven't done anything for myself in 32 years until last year when I went to Soulоgy Fest. It was the
So
best,
beautiful, though.
yeah, it was the best thing I could have done for myself because to find people where I can be around them when they don't intrude in my space, I don't have to justify or explain fuck all.
Right.
It was just magical. And then, came October 21st, the Spirit said it's time. And, I reached out about, I don't know, 10, 12 people to be part of my support team because I have no idea what I'm going to go through coming off of this shit. I have no
Right.
idea. And my friend Deb, my long time, because there's two Debs, and that's why I'm being very careful as I say Deb, because there's my personal friend Deb Reed, and then there's Deb Purcell, which is part of Three Amigos. So there's two Debs. But my personal friend Deb said to me, "You'll be off those in 6 months." I said, 6 months? I figured it would take me 2 years. She goes, "No, it's 6 months." Right? She's just incredible. And sure enough, 6 months, I was off them. So here I am flying solo, as I call it now, being off these medications for the first time since 1996, to going, okay, what's going on? Is this me coming off the medications because there's my brain, I also know, is not firing properly because this is the residual of the effects of the medication, right? But I know I'll get my brain back, and so this process I have to go through is figuring this thing out. Is it this? Is it that? And I went through a really rough time in June in which with which I did go back on my medication, just a small dose. After a week, I went, no, I can't, no, no. Because something told me inside that, no, this is not the answer. Like, yeah, I'm stressed out. Absolutely. Financially, I'm about to get an inheritance. It should have been here 6 months ago. And here we are 6 months later, still waiting. And I did sign the documents 2 weeks ago, as of yesterday. And then the lawyer was off for a whole week. It's just, so I got this extra weight. So here I am going through all this stuff solo and trying to put things as much as I'm able to into perspective. Okay, what's what? Which side is up, which side is down, and what's going on? And and I'm going to use the word challenging, but not in a bad way. I'm just observing and really doing my best to not reevaluate me, but take a good look, step back, not be attached to the story, and observe myself and what I've been going through and how I'm feeling and this and that and all this shit. And, and that's where, with the Soulogy family, because I met Todd 3.5 years ago, my life and my world has shifted and changed beyond my wildest dreams.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So, but that's in a nutshell. And my doctor, seen him today, because he squeezed me in today, because I was such a mess on Thursday. And I said, look, we need to figure this thing. And by the way, he's a brand new doctor. The first time I saw him, I love how the universe really does work, is that I just moved where I am a year and a half ago, not even a year and a half yet. And so my clinic where I usually go to said, you need to go to this town where you're living now. And I said, okay, reluctant, because comfort zone. So I get this new doctor, and the first time I saw him was the time I went in and said, I want to come off these medications. That's my first visit with it. And I didn't even know who he was. It's my first male doctor in many, many years. And I went in and saw him. I said this, and here's the beautiful part. He was the right person, not because he's a Western medical doctor, but because he's East Indian. He understands the spirituality. He understands the journey. Yeah. So I just looked at him as, this is what I want to do. And he just looked at me, okay. But he could feel it in me. And pure support all the way through this. And it's just, that's where spirit really works in our favor if we get the fuck out of our own way. Don't try to hold on to what was, but what is. And so, yeah. Getting awful, get a huge download of that shit pretty quick, didn't you? I don't mess around with this stuff. I'm always honest, and most people cannot handle this kind of honesty. They want you to cover up and mask things, go.
Right, that spiritual bypassing.
Yeah. Totally. And that's where when I'm going through stuff, I usually don't talk to, and I don't talk to people to start with, but it's learning and connecting with people and letting them in.
Right.
I'm not broken. None of us are broken. That's the thing. Society makes us think we're broken because we haven't got our shit together. We haven't got this together, that, whatever their idealisms are. But the fact is, there's nothing wrong with any of us. We're going through something. It's us to figure out what it is. And stop relying on, like even, my doctor today, he goes, I really feel that you need to stay on a small dose of this. I said, no, I don't want to. I said, but what I'd like to have is something in case I get way overwhelmed again that I can just take and it'll help calm me down, where I can get back into me. Yep, can do that. Like it just, yeah, I'm just so grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so by the way, it's nice to meet you, Gabby.
Yes, it's nice to meet you too.
Yeah, well, when you were on with Jill the other day, and I just went, I want to connect with that young lady. I want to get to know her this way, right?
Right.
And because I know you're very bashful, you're very shy, you're very reserved, I get all of that because I too, and because a lot, and there's something I want to say to you, because I've gone through this process myself. As I say this, that after connecting with this community, of course, not everybody knows Todd or Soulology. Not everybody does.
Mhm.
But when you start connecting with people, then you keep on spreading, just right.
Right.
And but there was a lady that is connected to Soulology. Her name is Susanna Mara. She had a weekly gathering called Light Language Lounge, and so I start going to her weekly gatherings, and it was me coming home to me because first of all, what I do is light language, language of the
Mhm.
heart,
Absolutely.
and then she approached me to channel her song for podcast that was going to do. She may still do it down the road. I don't know what her intentions are right now because her life has changed. But it hasn't really changed, but it's shifted. And so while one of the first conversations early on with Suzanne, she said to me, Ernie, you're an alchemist. I said, no, not me. you know, and and this process I've been through, especially the last couple of years, that in August of 2021, that I understood within me, it's not what I think I am, it's who I am. I am
Mhm.
an alchemist, and I own that. And where I'm leading to on this is what you do, what I do, and many other incredible beings that are there, spiritual beings. What we do, we channel. We're channeling energy. We don't understand in our brain. We're not here. We're here.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we were saying the other day, well, I think it's channeling, and I just wanted to yell at you and say, you are channeling, woman. Own it. Say, I'm a channeler. I channel energy, like whatever it is. But fucking own it because that is who we are. But we hold back for the fact is most people do not understand that, and they go, what
Yeah.
in the fuck are you talking about? What makes you think you're so fucking special? On and on. They don't understand it, and that's where we're very careful about who we share, who we really are.
Right.
In the Soulology family, you are safe. It's a safe container that Todd and Morgan have created. And to start out with Todd, I trust you know who Morgan is.
No.
Okay, Morgan Lee is Todd's wife, and
Okay.
and she lives in Australia. And they found each other. I don't know how many years ago it was, and then she came here, to, and visit, and then went back and then come back again. This time she's not going to stay. They got married. They had a sacred ceremony, so they are married. They lived. She lived here with him 2, 3 years, whatever it was. I'm not sure the circumstances, and it really doesn't matter. But she had to go back to Australia, not by choice.
Oh man.
And what their guides told them that there's a reason for them this happening. Don't worry about the government side, that's irrelevant. It's just you
Right.
guys. Todd has work here he needs to do. You have work over there that you need to do. And of course, we're all wanting them to get back together, but that's who Morgan Lee is. Is
Okay.
his beautiful, incredible wife, and as Todd says, which I agree, she's a fucking goddess. The first time that they met, you know, like this, and Morgan says, "Can I hold your heart?" She's able to go in to his body and hold his heart.
That's
Yeah,
so beautiful.
yeah.
It's very crazy how I got involved with soulology.
It's
Soulology.
Soulology. Yeah, I know. I used to
Yeah.
say Soulology too, by the way. At first, he's getting the brain wrapped around the words Soulology,
Yeah.
Soulology.
Yeah. But so I was watching Todd, and I've been watching his stuff on YouTube, but I've just been so wrapped up the past 8 months with work that I kind of got a little disconnected. And then obviously Jill and I talk daily, and she's really the one that got me in it. Like, I've been trying to get a hold of Todd since last year, sending him emails about coming on there. And Jill is actually a big reason why this is happening. And I really believe that Spirit's working through her and we're helping each other. And like, this is a divine thing here. Like, me getting involved with it, you and I talking like we are, me meeting people, networking, like, it's all divine and planned,
Yep.
pre-contracted.
Yep.
And it's just so crazy how it worked out, because she sent me this message and said that, she's talked to him and we're going to do this. And I've been so busy, I haven't had time to really do anything. I thank God I got my album out, because just shit has been hectic, because I just moved to Florida, and everything's just everywhere. But that's how I got involved with the whole show. I through Jill, and it, like, I swear it's divine intervention.
Well, and here's the thing that really, there's a lady I've known for 3.5 years. And when I say this is, there's a lot of people, first of all, there's a lot of people who reach out to Todd, want to be on our show. Can you imagine how many emails he gets or messages?
Right.
Like, that's a fucking
Yeah.
lot. And when I connected with him 3.5 years ago,
You just had an orb fly by you,
with
like a
surprise.
light orb.
Yep, I understand. Yeah, cool. And, like, for me, is that I tell people this, and this lady I'm thinking of, because she plays the victim role. Well, his wife reached out to me, but I've never heard back from her. Then you fucking get hold of them. Like,
Right.
however it works. Or you work through somebody to get to them, like, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
Because if we don't, this is how I feel, that like, okay, you reach out to them, and yes, it's fucking frustrating when people don't respond to us or acknowledge us or something. Like, and
Right.
we're just trying to get who we are and what we are out to there. And I feel very fortunate. I have no doubt that Spirit said to him, you get her on there. There's something about her you need to get here. And when he first heard me, like, because wasn't looping then. I was just strictly guitar. And
Yeah.
when I started playing, it was like, holy fuck. Like, right? And that's when I didn't even know what I was doing was channeling energy. I was just playing. But
Right. Yeah.
my connection to it, and it's gotten deeper now, but it is, and that's the thing, is like this friend of mine, and first time I said to her, well, why don't you just reach out to Morgan, touch base with her, to say, hey, I'd very much like to get back on the show. Is there any possibility, like, whatever, like, be nice about it, right? But yet people go back, oh, pardon me, well, I've tried. No, if you stop trying, that means you're stopping yourself.
Right.
And like you're saying, is that if we're open to the fact is, okay, and it's like what I'm getting to really get and understand, we're always getting nudges. We can use our own personal discernment to act upon or not. That's our choice. That's our free will. But if it's like, with you and Jill having your guys' friendship, and that she goes, okay, I'm going to get you in, type thing, and let's do a show, let's do this, and then what's been unfolding, and it's like, as soon as I saw you, and I want to connect with that incredible young lady, right? So it's Spirit's always working in our favor if we get the fuck out of our brain
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Don't sit there and, well, I don't, they reached out to me, but, and I reached out to them, said, yes, I'd love to, but I've never heard back from them. Then get on the fucking bandwagon.
It really, like, with me, it all fell into place though. Like, it's like I didn't even have to try
Yeah.
with this. Like, it just kind of lined up. And
Yeah.
it's just so amazing, how that works.
How it
And
really does not,
yeah,
it's not what you think it is, but
right,
get the
yeah,
fuck out of your own way and trust that.
exactly. And if it would have just been me, I think I would have kind of blocked myself. But like I really I got out of my own way, like you're saying, and I just allowed it to be. And I forced myself to get up there and do it because you know, there were things coming up like, oh, you're not feeling good. I was super anxious, but I pushed through it and I still did it,
Yeah.
and I'm so grateful I did because it feels good,
It
you
feels,
know?
yeah, because you're breaking that mentality pattern that we fall into. It's trapped within
Yeah.
ourselves. And despite how you're feeling, and it's like for me, it doesn't matter. Like some of my, as you know, some of my personal friends that, you know, I had this lady that we connected a couple months ago, but there's a real connection. And when she didn't know anything was going on because people what they see online, they think that's who you are all the time. Fuck
Right.
no. Right? When I'm here, I'm very present in this moment with my guitar in my hand, which means I'm really present. So, my friend, when I said to her, this is what's been going on, and she goes, you have all that going on, and you still reach out to me to make sure I'm okay with what I'm going through. And she has a drug addict son,
Oh,
and it's she does astrological horoscope, all of that incredible stuff, which I do not understand. I don't need to understand, but that's what she does. And
awesome.
and she goes, in his charts, this is his karma, and and he's moved back into her house. He's on this whatever stuff, and he started using again lately, and she has to kick him out of her house. She doesn't want to because he's got no place to go. But he's
Man,
destroying her personal life because
yeah, you've got
she
to do something.
she runs her business from her home. She
Oh, and
brings
energetically, I
oh
can only imagine that's
oh
probably,
it's horrid, and she like, because of who she is and how she operates and everything, and then she just went through a major. She found she had mold in the bathroom. And then when they went to take the mold, they found out, oh no, this is gone far. They went to another bathroom, sure enough, it's in there, and it ended up being black mold.
oh no.
So this just happened in the last couple of weeks. So here she is going through that shit, which is costing her, I'm pretty sure by the time she's finished, like close to 20 grand out of her own pocket.
Man,
And that dealing with her drug addicted son. And so she's going through all this stuff, and like my heart goes out to her because she knows there was a part of her that knows I can't do nothing, but she cannot live the way she's living right now. And but she was so blown away how pretty much each day when I reached out to her, checking in, seeing how you're doing, how's your son. I don't need the details, I personally, but if she need to vent, send me a voice
right.
message that I can
Yeah.
listen to as much as I'm able to. And but and that's the thing about all of us, when we are here for each other. But when people, how do I say this? What I was getting to is, I don't put on a facade when I'm online. I'm there to channel some energy in the moment.
Right.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
present. Why would I bring what's going on with me personally into that? Why would I? Because if this is what I know, and what I believe, a thought is a thought. We all have stuff going on. But the more we focus on the stuff, the bigger it will get. And then there's our
Right.
anxieties, which could take over, and it's just another whole level. But the thing is that I'm very careful about what I speak about, because once I speak it, unless I pull it back right away, it's out there. It's into the
Mm-hmm.
ethers. And
Yeah.
you know, it's like, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's just, you know, people think, oh, Ernie, you're so great, da 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 da, you're so got it together. Okay, have a lot of it together, but don't put me on a pedestal. And this is something I say to people,
Right.
do not put me on a pedestal. Do not think I'm not going through shit and stuff, because I am. It's how
Right.
we choose to deal with it. And I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to give it that kind of energy. To
Right.
just, yeah.
I feel you. I feel like with me, some of it I talk about just to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like with
Yeah.
the addiction stuff, I
Yeah.
have a lot of experience on both sides with my own addiction and then my oldest son's father being an addict and dying, my parents both being addicts. You know, so like that kind of stuff, I feel like that's part of my purpose too, is to kind of speak about that and help people. And I feel like music, that's a big part of my purpose, but I feel like there's another part where I'm supposed to be like helping people, like how you and I are talking right now, like helping people like this, like connecting with them to kind of use that, be a channel for that kind of stuff too, like to bring my knowledge and experience in these dark things that I've experienced and to help other people move through them, you know? So like right now I've been planning, well, not just right now, but the past 3 years I've been planning this coaching business and course, and we've got an outline, but I think I've been blocking myself. Then I'm in it with my partner, so it's like there's this, not just me, but then her too,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like
Yeah.
it's at the precipice now, though. I
Yeah.
feel it, like I feel it. It's, you know, we're breaking through, and there was a lot of codependency, and I feel like we're in our own, we're standing in our power and in ourselves, you know what I mean? Like she's in hers, she's a child care worker, I guess out here it's called DCF,
Okay.
and that's her purpose, and then mine is my music and my coaching and helping people. And obviously she's helping people too, but they're two different
There's two different
things.
areas of the scope
Right,
of us being here on this earth to help other people,
right,
right?
exactly.
And you know, it's just like even with my doctor is a great example. Him and I talked briefly about it today. Was the fact is like, you know, here he comes from East Indian culture, which is very spiritual, owning your own
Mhm.
shit, blah blah blah, understanding who you really are, not what you think you are. And then
Right,
he wanted to find a way to take that, but he wanted to get into the medical system. So it's a balance, like he was saying, it's a balance. And that's where every individual that's on this planet, I'm talking about, because we're all earth angels in some way,
hmm,
shape, or
yeah,
form. And we're coming onto this earth because we're all trying to figure out, first of all, who we are, what am I here for, how can I help others, and your partner with her, that she you know, her gift and ability is helping kids.
yeah.
Which,
And the mothers of the children.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a gift to be able to do that. I can't do that. I bet you anything you
Right.
can't do it. That's not that you don't
Yeah.
admire what she's able to do, but you're not her, she is not you. She cannot
Right.
do what you do. And the thing is, that's where it's us not comparing ourselves to what the other person does or who they are. Stay in your own fucking lane of who
Right.
you are, and what you're, it's like, you know, my purpose has been my music since 1996, which I put it away for 13, 15 years. And when I got back into it in 2015, roughly, and getting more into it and stepping back into it, but yet pulling myself back. And when you're talking about how we sabotage ourselves, it's like I'm tired of me putting something there that is not really there, but I put it there because of
Yeah.
it could be past events, it could be anything, you know, not the lack of feeling worthy of.
Yeah. And the programming
Oh,
from outside, you
oh,
know.
fuck yeah. And it's like even when you were sharing your story on your and Jill's show that you know, and I want to say this to you. You may not. I just want you to know this for myself because I can only speak for me. When you shared your story and how you were on the cusp when you were 19, 18, 19 years old, and all these people, you know, I know you named different names and stuff, which don't mean anything to me personally, but I understood what you meant when you said that because that's how big you were going to be. But then this whole where you may because people keep on talking about sexual trafficking and all this stuff, and I've been here, but nobody talked about what it really is.
Right.
You're the second person in the last week or two, the last couple of weeks, who've spoken specifically. Do you know High Vibe Pamela?
I may. It's not ringing a bell right now, though.
You got to go and check this woman out.
Okay,
Like,
I will for sure.
and the reason why I say this is by you just speaking your truth to what it is for you. And then with Pamela, and briefly synapses with Pamela, I can't remember how many kids. There was 10 or 12 or 14 kids, whatever the fuck it was, kids. And that all these children were not allowed upstairs. So in other words, they lived in the basement. They were beaten, sexually used as tools for others by the father.
Oh my God, by the father.
Yeah, and that you know that when she was 9 years or whatever old it was, because her and Todd did it on Todd's page as well, that talking her story because we didn't know her story. It's not the story; it's what.
So she was one of the children then?
Yep.
The Pamela? Okay.
Yeah,
Karen had a very similar background too.
is that right?
I'll tell you about it
Yeah.
when you're done. Yeah.
And so, you know, her father was connecting with these other things, I'm not going to use that word, where they had yachts and whatever, and they would pay him handsomely to bring his kids on there to be sexual objects, right? And then, so what with that conversation, with what you spoke about your journey, it helped me to understand what people are really saying without with their no because no one not a lot of people will say what it is. By you sharing your story and Pamela sharing her story helped me to understand because I thought it was all underground and this big da 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 da. It's not that. It's right in our fucking back doors.
Yep.
It's our next
Yep.
door neighbor. It's on and on and on. That's where the problem is. And because, you know, based on what people have been saying, you know, because I just do a lot of listening and trying to learn to understand, but I know what fits and what doesn't. And I've been sitting here for the last few years going, okay, what the fuck are they talking about? Right? But you guys helped me to put it into a clear perspective. It's the family in the home who
Yeah.
who because we're all products of our childhood. We all are.
Yeah.
And but some families are more extremely fucked up between drugs, sexualization, molestation, on and on. And to hear Pamela's story, and it was just like, fuck. Now that
And her
makes
survived that.
and to survive that, but not only survive, but we actually survived still being intact, despite
Right, yeah.
despite what's been done to us as babies, to children, to being here this very moment. Like we're the ones that carried this, but it never stopped us from being who we are at the core, the essence of who we are. It never, it sort of dimmed that light. And I'm using the word dim because the light never went out, but something kept us going all these years. That we
Yeah.
just kept on taking those steps. And we try to let people in and they keep on fucking with our mind and our bodies and etc. And we go, what the fuck? What the fuck? You know, and we're all programmed, you don't ever say no, you always say yes. right?
Right.
And all
Yeah,
this.
especially through the religion.
Oh my God, that, yeah. And this is the whole thing. And actually, there's three people. This just came to me right now when you said religion. There's an interview that Todd did recently in the last couple of weeks as well. His name is I fuck. I'll come back into my field here in a sec. I can see his face. Martin. There we are. Martin. And it's, Martin is 40 something, I think, maybe closer to 50. I'm not really sure. But anyway, this memory came back to him just recently, like in the last few weeks, couple of months. And he's originally from Ireland. And of course, he was raised Catholic. And there's a place in Ireland that they call the Big White House. And he was talking about he was like 2 to 3 or 4 years old. And that because the programming was by his family that he thought that these priests were going to be good people, but underneath this big white house, as they refer to there, that there was this underground pedophilia thing that happens, and he was one of the victims. And immediately when he was sharing this, and it's like Sinead O'Connor when she came out with that 30 years ago and ripped that picture of the Pope,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's where
Yeah.
she's from, is Ireland, exposing
Yeah.
the truth. And you know, this is where with me, like my anger is with anybody who hides behind their religion, whatever that is. Doesn't matter what your doctrine is. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. Doesn't matter. You're hiding behind your religion to justify your behavior or to cover up. Oh, I'm the man of God. Jesus loves me, and that you need to listen to me because I know better than you. And you trust me, and you'll go to heaven. Right? If you don't, you go to hell. Like all this.
And like there is a false light with the Jesus thing. Like there's really a Christ, obviously, but that's actually the harmonic
Yep.
frequency there. That these people are saying they're following Christ, but it's really harmonic or the devil,
Yep. Yep. And that's where, you know, my hat is off to you personally, as well as these two people that I know, for speaking truth for what it really is. To be courageous enough to, just when you spoke about when you're getting into going to be about be really big, and that they were prostituting you. Say, if you do this, you'll get this. If you don't do this, you don't get that. Like,
Right, yeah.
just like you helped me to you turn the switch on for me to totally understand on a different level than versus how people just talk about, the underground pedophile scene. Well, what the fuck is that? You're saying a comment without being specific about what you're talking about. Talk about the pedophiles that are next door, how they're grooming these children, the parents who are grooming these children, and on and on. These people who are supposed to be caregivers for these children that need foster homes,
And they're sick too.
and they're
You know
sick
what I
too.
mean?
It's a fucking ripple effect,
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
right?
You have to talk to Karen at some point. You would love my partner, Karen.
Yeah. Well,
Like my story was like dark, but like hers, and I'm not even comparing because there's not really, you can't compare really.
yeah.
Because pain is pain, but
Yep.
like her father was a pedophile, and she got put back with her mother, and her mother was a meth addict. So there was a lot of the selling that went on with her. So like her perspective is ultimately like that's what brought me back to myself and like brought me back really, because I was so lost in my addiction at that point because I was feeling sorry for myself and the shame and all that shit. But like when her and I met and like I heard her story and I saw like how she could forgive her father after all the shit that he'd put her through, and then like it just hit me, you know what I mean? And it really helped me to heal and to like really look deeper into it. but obviously she still had her healing to do. But like you're saying, that light, it just never went out, you know. And I think that's with the light workers especially, like it stays there, you know.
And this is the thing is us understanding, and that's where people like Tom Medina, who, and I'm talking about the branch out because it's Todd is just one of the main characters in this world wild exposure, and not, and I don't want to use the word exposure, but bringing truth to the table, bringing people on to Soulology to speak their truth and their stories and whatever it is, because it's all of us getting back to who we are, because we never have had a safe space
Right.
to be who we are. And it's when people, like yourself, some people you resonate more so than with others.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. But the thing is that you guys, in which I know I fall in the same category in my own way, that that when we share our own truths, our own stories, whatever we're going through, and like even since I committed this awful dark place I was in, but it wasn't I was in it, but I was in it, and it was affecting me and my ability to function. Period. But when I come out of that stuff, and that I'm just speaking honestly with people about. Sometimes we have things that are attached to us that's pulling us down. We don't understand what it is. We don't need to understand, but know people that can come in and scan your body, find it, and remove it. Because no one person can do it all. And
Right. Yeah.
right? And that's where, for me, is that, I've been, to tell you this little part, is in 1996, actually it was 1995, but they discovered I had a big tumor on my left ovary in 1996. So I had a hysterectomy in 1996, in I think it was July or August, one of the two, in 1996. And right after that, I used to say I lost myself, but back then there was not also the knowledge and awareness with the medical system about hormonal imbalance the way it is today, right? So I got caught up in the anxiety and depression, but I don't know where I was going with this. There's a reason I was going back to this, but what were you talking about? Oh, I know what it was. Is that, I got into counseling. And that's when I opened up to my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own emotions, because I had no idea how disconnected I was from myself. And that's where my music started, is through that. And all I knew back then was, because my guitar's always been my vehicle, but to open up to your own feelings and emotions, be able to channel it this way, and it was like, fuck yeah. And all I knew is that my music was special. That's all I knew. And then in 2021, or sorry, not 2021, 2001, I went into the studio just to record my music because I didn't want anybody to try to say it was theirs. Nobody can do what I do. I did not know that then, but I just wanted to secure my music and by have it recorded, and not as an album, but just to record it and then, secure it. And then in late 2001, I was running out of money. And my mother, who died in 1991, so here we are 10 years later, because her estate was already settled within 3 years of her passing, and I get a $3,000 check. And
Wow.
that's how my first album came about, is because of that money. And now it turned into an album, which I released in February of 2002. And
Nice.
then when I did that, and then a psychologist heard my music, and she goes, "Can I use your music in my healing sessions?" I said, "Absolutely," because for me, anything to do with healing, I'm in. And
Right.
she then, now I understand. I was getting nudges from spirits saying, "You need to take a song that is on that album, put it into an album by itself." So I went back into the studio, recorded my second album, which is my first meditation album. And when I recorded the song, which is called Instrumental Sounds, I'll send you the downloads for this music later.
Yes,
Um,
please.
yeah, and when I was recording it, I just kept on recording till it felt right, meaning the length. It ended up being 55 minutes and 43 seconds long, one song.
Wow.
And strictly the guitar,
One song.
one song.
That's
And
a transmission right there.
oh, fuck yeah. And it only took, because you know how it works, it only took 3 to 4 hours to do,
Yeah. And yeah.
right? And so we did that, and then in 2021, I went into the studio because I live over here now on the mainland, and went to Turtler Studio where I recorded my third album, which is my second meditation album, and that one's called Soulful Connection. That one's 53 minutes and 34 seconds long. Like everything that we really do is pure channel. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like that $3,000 coming in the first time to allow me to do an actual album because I had no intentions of doing an album because I just wanted to record my music to secure it, that nobody can say, that's my song, that's my song.
Right. Yeah.
That's all it was about. And it just turned into this. So technically, not technically, it's truth. And you know yourself when things aren't completely in line, there's always this like a hesitation within us. Because I went back in the studio last year to record music using the looper, right? Before I went to Soulogy Fest. So I spent a lot of time in the studio last year and before and after Soulogy Fest trying to get my fourth album out actually. And what's come to me recently is you already did the technically the third album because that Soulful Connection is my fourth album. Because in 2003, I think it would have been, that I recorded Reflections of the Soul. But I didn't re-release it now because, I didn't like it. Not that I didn't like what I did, but it was okay. I rushed it,
Right.
when we're trying to rush it. And so that's where I haven't spoken about it. And then recently, and I'm talking about the last few weeks, I'm getting the spirit, because I'm paying more attention to who's speaking to me, which is our guides and our spirit and everything else. And they're saying the reason why you're having difficulty finishing this album because it's not Reflection of the
Not ready.
Soul. It's not that album. You've already recorded that, right? So I haven't said anything to anybody. In fact, you're the first person I spoke about to this. Is I need to dig that album up. That's the only word I'm going to use. Dig that album up, and take it into somebody who's able to convert it from 440 to 432 for me, and then I'm going to be re-releasing that one first, and then I know that then the energy for the new one, which is going to be, I don't know what the title's going to be yet. I think I already have it, but can't think right now. But it is, I think it's truly amazing that despite all the obstacles that have, because things happen to us. This is what I believe. Things do happen to us, but it's how we choose to deal or look at it, that kind of thing. And,
For sure.
it's like, to tell you this is in 2004, I guess it was, that I explored the possibility of doing my music as a career, right? Because I started to realize how incredible my music is. I know where it comes from. Well, I did not understand the way I now understand, but back then I just knew it was special. And I applied for this government program. And so I go through the preliminaries, and then, I asked to go before this board because we already know that music is one of the hardest industries to break through. And when I went before the board, they brought that up. I said, yeah, no, I'm very aware. But it's not about that. It's about what I do. And I brought my guitar and I start playing for them. And they approved me
Oh, wow.
for the program. Yeah.
Amazing.
And the program was for 1 year, but with a 6 month review, which is fine, right?
And what was the program for
It,
then?
it was a entrepreneur program for people to be self-employed,
Oh, okay.
right? So it was a government sponsored. So I was making, I think I was making 1,600 or something a month from that program. That was my money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty good program. And it allowed me just to focus on that. I borrowed a little bit of money and I started to run out of money within the first couple of months because it was not near enough to complete, as you know, what it costs to do what we do.
Right.
And the worker that was my person that I was supposed to be able to reach out to ask for help and support or if I'm struggling with anything, she started denying me access to her. She would not respond. She would not meet up with me. I said, I'm in trouble financially. I need your help to figure this out. She never made time for me. And then it came to the 6 month review. I asked, I had to do up this report, which I was still, every month I had to submit a report to her, right? And that, which I was doing, I was following the program exactly the way they wanted. And she was reluctant, and I was just desperate. And then, so this other worker took over, and I was telling her, and she could hear my frustration, not anger. Like, I'm trying to make this work, and she's not responding to me, and I need help to reapply for my 6 month review. So this woman tried to help me, and I have no doubt what I'm about to say is that my initial worker prevented me from going before the board to talk to them because she wanted to cover her own fucking ass for not doing her job. And I lost the funding instantly. Like, and I mean instantly. All of a sudden, no money, no nothing. I was living in my car for a while. It was different.
Yeah.
And that's saying, as I say that, is that things happen to us. But I did not have this amazing support in around me for me to understand. Because if you
Right.
get caught up in the stuff, you're playing the victim role.
Right.
But she never stopped me. And that memory is there and it'll always be there. But it's not, it's about looking at these things when they have happened to us, just like even when you're 19 and you work with all these incredible, supposed to be credible artists, which you thought they were in the same track as you, that you end up finding out that they're deceptive, deceiving,
Yeah.
manipulators, abusers, sexualizers, and thinking that women are objects to meet their own just pathetic. But, those things that have happened to us never stopped us, despite it may have hindered things for a little while, but we keep on pushing our way through, just striving and go, no, because there's something inside of us. We don't understand what it is or what it was that kept us going. Because it's almost like, no, you're not going to fucking stop me.
And like even in my addiction, I was so connected still. Like I was the person at the crack house talking about spirituality and God and trying to save the prostitutes. And you know what I mean? And they're just looking at me like I'm nuts because, where we're at. But yeah, it's amazing that like I made it out of that.
I'm sorry, how long have you been, when I say this, I know that sometimes you go sort of slip back and you go back, get out of it again. How long have you been clean or sober, whatever term you want to use?
For 5 years.
Good for you.
I had a relapse and an overdose. I've had 4 near-death experiences. My first one was a car accident, so I have rods and things holding me together in my hip, and then like I broke my face. That was my first near-death experience, and that's what I got when I got addicted to the opiates. was from the pills.
Yep.
And then they cut me off of my pills, and then I found it on the street because I was withdrawing, and it went, one thing led to another. And so I was out there for about a year, went to treatment, went to halfway house. This all took about a year. And then I got clean, but I wasn't healing the deep rooted stuff. And like the addiction, the drivers for the addiction was the trauma. So I'm hiding from that, not wanting to look at it. So then, but I'm using to not feel. You know what I mean?
Yep. It
So
numbed it.
I
Yep.
finally, like, it took when me and Karen got together really for me to like really start to, because I wasn't looking at myself because I was being, what's the word? I had people helping me get messed up. You know what I mean? Like I had my mother, she would give me money. My grandmother, she was giving me money.
They would
It was
enable you.
enabling.
Enabling. Yep.
Enabling, yes. They were enabling me to be sick because in some way they needed me to be sick
So
for their own.
because by them thinking they were helping you, they felt better because they love you in their idealism, in their world, in their world. Oh, give her some money, she'll be okay. No, I trust her.
Well, yeah, and they needed me to be sick because well, one, I would do things for them, like I completely disregarded myself and go out of my way to do these things for them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then two, my grandma's always needed to be needed. So she knew that if I wasn't sick, obviously she didn't want me to be using. She wanted me to be clean, but she needed to be needed.
Yep.
So it took, me and Karen got together. We both went to the meetings about 6 years ago, and she realized that she was an addict and has her own addictions.
Wow.
So she started the healing process with me, and it's just been, I don't know, transformative. It's been life-changing. And it wasn't the program though, like the NA and all that. That's just another program.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
another like religion.
Yep.
It was KI, Killaby Inquiry, like all these people, these spiritual teachers that really helped me, because it really got to the root of the addiction, especially Killaby. His name's Scott Killaby. He's the one that came up with KI,
Okay.
which is actually like an older practice, self-inquiry, but he kind of tailored it to modern day addiction.
Yep.
So it really, like, it pinpoints these areas in the body where it gets stuck, like these pains that we have, and then like the pains will come up, and then in inquiry you tap into it, and like this pain, when I tap into it, these emotions start to pop up around it. And when I started to heal that, everything else started to shift in my life. Like I didn't have the like even want or need to go hide from the pain because I'm facing it real time.
Yeah. And
But it has been a process, like,
Well,
and then there's these things that are like hidden that I think I've dealt with, and I think that I've healed, and then it comes up, especially recently. Especially this energy is bringing everything up to the surface.
Yep.
It's been a hell of a ride, I'll tell you that.
It has been, and that's the thing about these last, especially when I say this, I'll use the term in general, the last 4 or 6 weeks or whatever it's been, but being into August is amped everything up, and we each individual, every single one of us but it's still like, even with all the stuff that I've had to been going through but there's brought up stuff that I need to look at for myself, right? Because everything's an opportunity, but and that's where, the more that we observe and not get caught up in the story, because I used to think that details were important. Well, you need to hear the story, to explain,
Right.
to justify this or that. It really doesn't fucking matter, because we're holding on to something that Doesn't really matter. What's the root? What is the core of it? It's like, you know, yeah, it's just, and that's where when you spoke, and it's just like when Martin spoke, and it's the same thing with Pamela when she spoke about stuff, and it's just, it doesn't mean it still doesn't hurt, you know, because Martin started to cry because he doesn't talk about it, because it just came to the surface with him realizing what happened to him as a little boy by these priests, pedophile priests, which they all hide behind the cloth to justify. I didn't do anything. He's just imaginative. Like all these excuses that we give pedophiles the right to cover up. And the 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 thing is, when this stuff comes up now, today, I'm using that term in general, that we're able to, because the work we've already done, we catch ourselves quicker. We take the time to go look in and dive in and to resolve whatever the core, the root of that is. So it, because if we become reactive, it's like, I've been posting this stuff and it resonates with me. If we get triggered, because we all still get triggered today, but the difference is when we're being triggered, are we being reactive? If we're being reactive, that means that it's something that's not resolved within us.
Right.
It's for us to look at within ourselves. If we're being triggered and we just go, okay, then that tells us, and that's where situations will come up to show us, and including myself, my ex-partner, which was very abusive to me, and I've been single now for, is it 12, 13 years? I've not dated anybody since then. And it took me a long time for me to break away from her. It was me breaking away from, not her breaking away from me, because it's never about what they do, it's about what I do. And when I finally got to that point where enough was enough, nope, you're gone. You are now gone. And because I can see who she is. I can see her heart. Her heart is beautiful. Her soul is beautiful, but her behavior, her conduct, and etc. is not okay.
Your own trauma. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this past January, I went to a gathering of about 25, 30 women for dinner. And I didn't know anybody there, including the person that was hosting it. First time I ever met her. Because I've not even been out in the community for 10 plus years. I just retreat, go into me. And the day after, being at this dinner, the day or so after, she reared her, this is my terminology, she reared her ugly face.
The girl, your ex?
After all these years, she reared her ugly face and said, remember that music we listened to? Can you tell me what album that was? That was pure manipulation to try to get back into me, right? But I spotted right, I just, it took me a bit, like, I'm reading this thing, who the hell is this? Like, what? And then all of a sudden I see the name at the bottom, went, fuck, delete, blocked. Just like that.
Good for you.
Right? There was
Good for you.
and then she went on to my YouTube channel, did the same thing there. Like the message is, fuck off. You will never get 1 inch near me. And I know if I choose to go to a dance, and if she's there, she'll try to approach me, which she has done in the past when I've gone to dances years ago, right? She does not respect boundaries. She does whatever the hell she wants to do, but that's the manipulation part of who she is. And she's also told people, which I found out from her ex now, who she dated for a while, that that I feel I need to share this part, is there's a lady here who's been doing this for 25 years, what we refer to as a lower mainland Vancouver, okay, which encompasses a whole bunch of cities that are all interconnected. And she just retired a month ago, not even a month ago yet, and she did women dances at least 4 times a year. And so she ended up dating Anne. And I called up one day to get a ticket for the dance. And she said, well, she goes, I need you to know something. I said, what's that? She goes, I'm dating Anne. I go, yeah, so, right? Know what
So, and
time?
that's your ex?
Yeah,
Is that?
Anne is my ex. And she goes, well, I just want you to know. I said, no, that's between you two. It has nothing to do with me. Then next thing I know, I cannot recall 100% if it was in that conversation or she called me back. I have a feeling that she called me back and told me that she can't allow me to come to her dances. And I said, what goes on with Anne and me has nothing to do with your dance. This is you. This is a business that you're
Right.
running, and for you to say to me, I can't go to this dance because of Anne. No, that's not okay. And so, anyway, a few weeks later, she called me back and she apologized for her behavior, conduct to say that in the first place. Because Anne was manipulating her.
Mm-hmm.
But then, shortly after that, they ended up breaking up, which is fine. And then I went to get my ticket for the dance. I was at her door and we started talking. And I started sharing some stuff, and she said, that is exactly what Anne said that you did to her. I said, no, she did that to me. So what she
Wow.
was doing is going around telling the people in the community all the abuse that I did to her, but she was purely projecting what she did to me to
Mm-hmm.
make me look like I was the problem. And I know exactly who the woman was at this gathering I went to in January. I know exactly who it was. As how you step back and you scan, take a look. And because there was somebody there, I could just feel this energy. Because I'm getting used to this sensing and feeling, and I don't need to figure it out in this moment, but trust what I'm sensing and feeling, and
Mm-hmm.
especially with this
Sure.
person. So when Anne reared her ugly head, I knew it instantly it was her. That obviously is friends with Anne, and she went back and told Anne, hey, and she even gave me a business card. Here you go. I didn't give her my business card for her
Wow.
to pass it on to Anne, but she took that, and then,
No.
but it's like, and that's the thing about me with people. It's not who you are or what you think you are. It's about who you are in your heart space. Do you respect other people's boundaries? I don't care if I agree or disagree with your boundaries. Those are your boundaries. It's not my job to disrespect or disregard your boundaries. My job and my responsibility is to respect your boundaries. If I don't respect them, that's a reflection on me,
Right.
not you. And
Mm-hmm.
and and that's the thing that for me is, you know, I know that this amazing woman's going to appear one day. I know she's going to appear. I can't wait. Would I like to have somebody? You're fucking right, I would like to. But I don't need to go out looking.
Right.
I don't need to go out and search. If the right person appears before me, and then I'll take it as it comes. Right? But in the meantime, I'm meeting all these amazing people like yourself that I want to connect with, people that that are doing their best at owning their own fucking shit and looking at this stuff and
Yes.
seeing it and speaking truth, and not go, well, if they wouldn't have done that, then I wouldn't feel this way. That's playing the victim role, but I can spot it now. I get and I don't have time for it. I'm being very honest. You know,
Right.
it's yeah. So going back to you and Karen. So how long have you two been together?
8 years.
Wow.
And Karen and I's relationship is very, it's different than like any other relationship, I think, because I've known Karen for like lifetimes. Like it's this connection. It's like, it's not like, it's more like a partnership at this point. It's not like, your typical relationship. Like
It's not
we,
3D society's idealism what a
right.
relationship is,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
we're talking about a sacred connection with another person, another being
Exactly.
that goes to a
Yeah.
level that there's no words that can describe what it
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and then to add to what I was saying, it's not, even if Karen and I were to not be in a sexual relationship tomorrow, we would still have,
That.
there would be a conscious uncoupling. We
Yep.
would still be co-parenting.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? So and I'm glad that she's on the same page, because not a lot of other people can say that with
And
their partners they've been with before the awakening. You know what I mean?
yes. And this is the thing that I'm finding, and this is an observation being around this amazing community for the last 3.5 years, is that there's no words that can describe a true intimacy level of a true relationship, because it's built on respect, and that you're two individuals and not trying to control the other. Like I can just, it's so sacred. And like even with Todd and Morgan, if because it's in some of Todd's, he spoke about Morgan, about him and Morgan, how they met, and they both have as well. And there's a feeling that no words can describe, and it's it like I know they miss each other physically badly, right? But they still connect at a spiritual level that is beyond anything that's not physical.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I, the word that's coming to me is mature, but it's maturity within each individual. Because, like, I know different people that have awakened and are awakening continuously, that when they're in a relationship with somebody that are not even there to start with, I cannot imagine trying to be in a relationship with somebody like that.
Yeah. Can people completely turned off, not there yet?
Not there
I
yet.
can't imagine either.
You know, and even if you've been with her for 10, 20, 30 years, 50 years, doesn't matter. But when you wake up and you start really, and I'm just saying, that's why I use the word waking up, because I believe there's different levels of this wakening up,
Oh, for sure.
right? And that if you're with a partner who doesn't even start to explore, you're going to drift. You can't help but drift, right? It just, and with you and Karen, and it's, you guys have, you're both individual stories. There's the attraction, but your guys' attraction went deeper. And then as you guys worked on your own addictions, your own inner stuff, and you keep on unfolding this within yourselves, and then you're there to support each other, and your relationship keeps on blossoming. Somebody just poked you. Watch out! Watch out! I'm sorry.
No, you could.
No, I'm being cheeky. I'm being
Oh,
cheeky.
what is it, buddy? No, yeah, after dinner.
Yeah. No. I'm happy that you two found each other, and if something happened tomorrow where your actual relationship ended, you still are going to be very connected.
Yeah. Well, we have kids, and she's helped me with Evan.
Hmm.
Evan was 5 years old when Karen and I met. And that's a crazy story how we met, because my sister knew her, my mom knew her before I knew her, like in this lifetime. And it was just like we were bound to meet.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because she's born in California, moved to Southern Illinois, and then after the stuff with her dad happened, he went to prison, so she went back with her mother, and that was in Louisiana. But she ended all the way up near Chicago, in a little town called Rockford, Loves Park, and we just so happened, to meet. And she was not like the type of person I would typically be with, because my typical was like high maintenance, super, and she's not that at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I would not have typically gone for somebody like Karen because she was just too grounded. You know what I mean? Like she had her stuff together. She was, she worked a full-time job, and I was used to people using me, so it was really like healing for me to be with somebody who just wanted to help me or just wanted me for me, and that they didn't have ulterior motives. You know what I mean? Like she didn't want me to just take care of her like
Yep.
these other girls did,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
And I was usually always the functional, even in my addiction, I was pretty functional.
Yep.
When is your birthday?
December 22nd.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're right on the cusp of Capricorn.
Yep.
That's crazy. I'm the 30th.
Are you really? No
Mm-hmm.
wonder I want to. Yeah, sister. Oh my God. Yeah, because what I'm starting to realize and see that, this happened a few months ago when I start stepping back and look at all these different signs, but because I'm most familiar with a Capricorn and also Sagittarius, that I started to see that those of us born in December, the Capricorn, how similar we are,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? And like I know I have some Sagittarius in me because I can see that, I can feel that in me. So I'm more Capricorn, but that can waver.
Right,
It,
yeah.
it'll do this. And but at the same time, it was like, wow. So just to be able to I started to, and I just sort of got away from it, to really take time to figure out who people are. But that's where immediately, like I knew you, but
Right. Yeah, we've known each other in other lifetimes. I feel this very, very, very strong connection.
yep,
Like
absolutely,
soul connection.
absolutely. And that's the thing, like that's where I sent you a message, as you know, and then I gave you a date, and you didn't respond. And somebody told me that you're not on here much, so that's why I reached out to Jill, right, to say I'm trying to get hold of Gabby, blah blah blah, and
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
yeah, and she goes, she'll be delighted, awesome, and within hours, right there you are, and because you know I'm just I want to say this, that I'm just so grateful that you first of all that you're friends with Jill, number one, but number two that Jill got you to go with her on a show on
Yeah.
Soulology, and that because I have no doubt that I was meant to watch that show because now something that I appreciate that Todd does is that he does the first premiere show on live stream, on mainstream, I'll rephrase that, and and I just I knew there was something very special about you, and but that's why I think one of the first things I said to you today was that you do channel. Fucking own it, woman. Just don't be scared in this community. I understand the outside world when we step outside of our home, or that we use our discernment in what we speak of and how we speak of it. We need to do that because we're not fucking crazy. We're fucking incredibly amazing beings. But
Right.
a lot of people, it's like even my doctor today, Dr. Shafi, like he goes, yeah, most people don't understand. And I said, and I said to this is the second time I've said this to him, that I said, I have no doubt that Spirit brought me to you, and because you're the perfect person for me on this part of my journey. And he just smiled. He goes, yeah. And it's so nice to be able to communicate with people, but we can't. And this is where, for me, is using my discernment, like on my own platform, I'll use all these terminologies that I know only if it resonates in that moment, right?
Right.
Because I'm not going to hold back because it's my timeline. I get to say whatever the fuck I want.
Mm-hmm.
That was just somebody. My mic, you know how sensitive our mics are? It picks up
Yeah.
something from 30 feet away and
Mm-hmm.
it makes it sound like they're
Yep.
right inside your house. But but it's, I don't know what I was saying. I got distracted. I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful
I
for
am too.
that you are who you are, and I'm so grateful for us connecting. And it's like I do believe, and I trust that you do too. As much as we tried to meet earlier than today, we were meant to talk today, not 5 days
Right.
ago. 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, we tried all along.
Mhm.
It just things kept on fucking happening, which is okay,
Yeah.
right? Because
Mhm.
and there's one thing I want to make sure that, which I know you'll understand, like I'm very flexible, meaning this. Shit happens, stuff happens. You just gotta communicate with me. See, Ernie, I'm too busy. Get together. Say, can we do it later? Can I touch base with you later? I'll go, yep, not a problem. Because I have no expectations. But the
Right.
only expectation I do have is fucking honesty.
Same here. That's
Honesty.
my number one thing. Honesty. And I'm brutally honest. That's, I think that might be a Capricorn thing, or maybe it's just a spiritual Capricorn thing,
I,
but
I think it's a combination of both. I think what it is that we're not holding back and trying to look after the other person anymore. We're honoring ourselves and saying no,
right.
no. We can be nice about saying no. You know, it's like somebody the other day who reached out to me and they wanted to have a chat. You know, they wanted to talk to me, and I responded back to them. And it was on something I posted, and I said, "Look, I'm going to be very honest, and this is nothing personal towards you or anybody else, but I don't talk to people. I just don't
That's what
talk.
you said,
Yeah,
and
I
that's how I am too.
yeah, I don't talk to people, and it's like, and being careful enough to say to that person, no, I'm not able to talk to people. I just don't fucking talk to people because I don't like. There's people that I know, and it's like, when I say this, like Shanda Sparkles, right? Like she's my astrologist, blah 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 friend, and I don't fucking understand what in the hell she does with all this astrology, the planet this, planet that. Do I need to fucking know and understand this? The word is nope, I don't need to. But I respect what she does because she fucking knows her shit. And speaking of that, I asked her last week or the week before that I want to have a session with her, right? Because she's going to do my astrological signs and times and all
Oh,
this.
good.
And
That was so insightful for me.
that's what she said, Ernie, because she has this, and I'm using the term, maybe it's the wrong term, but an entity, which is a channel thing that comes in, and I can hear in her voice when she told me something, and I went, oh, okay, that's why there's a difference in your voice. That's who's coming in. And I know when your channel comes in, we don't remember usually. Sometimes we do, but most times we don't. And, you know, her channel spirit comes in, and like even the other day, because a couple weeks ago, her channel spirit came in, and like I know Shanna didn't remember this, and they said, you need to have a session with me so I can help you to figure out your astrology. It will help you to understand so much. She drops into this, so you'll have much understanding of this stuff, right? And but the way she said it, and I knew it was her spirit, you know, this entity, right, that comes in, and the spirit that she channels, and I can't wait. And she's going to hopefully get me in next week that we have a session,
Awesome.
and because we are incredible, but when we
That's our blueprint,
that's what she was talking
yeah,
about, was it's like a
for sure.
blueprint. And you know, and I believe that with Shanda and I, for example, is she appeared in my field a couple of months ago, but her energy is just solid, just incredible. And speaking of that, this is what's coming to me. She was on one of my lives one night, and all of a sudden this energy started coming through me, and I just go, because when it happens for me, I just let it go, like let it happen. I don't stop it anymore. In other words, oh, I'll deal with that later. No, no, you need to deal with it now, because when this stuff comes in, you only have now to do it. It's not saying
Right.
it won't, you cannot go back later to find it, but you're gonna fucking look for needle in a haystack.
Right.
It's like you can't, and that's where what I'm learning with my music, when it happens, I just now ride with it,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And so here's this song. Can I play it for you?
Absolutely.
Okay. And just so you know, I'm going to be turning off my mic, so you're only hearing through the system, just my guitar.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure. Okay. Let me know if you can hear me. Just so you know, too, I'm turning your mic, not for you to turn down. I'm just turning. I can't hear you while I'm playing, because if I hear noise,
Right.
it distracts me channeling.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, here we go. Anyway, yeah. And so
Can
her.
you hear me now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, that was beautiful.
Yeah, so her song started, and I just went for this incredible ride. It was a couple of days later that I realized, fuck, that was Shanda's song. So once I realized that, I reached out to Shanda and said, you know that live that you're on with me the other night, and that new song unfolded? I said, that was your song. And she goes back, she goes, I knew it. She goes, I could feel it, yes. and she says, the song, the title is Take the Long Way Home.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And this is the
I
thing.
can't wait to collab with you.
I
Do you
can't.
do you sing at all?
No, 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 well, and that no,
Because
no.
I just had some words that were like coming to me, like when you were playing that. Like I can't wait for us to do something. It's gonna be great.
Hmm.
If it resonates with you.
And the only word I have for you is, of course, it resonates with me, because I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if it didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to come down here. I gotta make him his food real quick.
You, so this is your son, your other son.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Jaden, my youngest. Jaden, you wanna say hi?
Hi, Jaden. Zoom.
Yeah, he's
So,
got a lot of energy.
so what made you guys? And assume that you guys moved from whatever state down to Florida recently.
Hmm.
What made you guys move there?
Well, the craziness with the Republicans seems to be a little bit more like with the vaccines and the schools and everything, the whole transgender thing that's going on right now. Like it's really, really bad where I'm at. And especially for me because I'm not only getting the pressure from the people who aren't gay. I mean, the people who, okay. So the people who are in that movement are like trying to pressure me into it. I'm kind of being bullied at work and
Yep.
stuff like that. But then the people who have nothing to do with it are looking at me like I'm part of that.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like they're afraid of me.
Very judgmental because of their own personal interfere. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting
So,
you're bringing this up because this is one thing that I will not put anything on my personal timeline about, though I know how I feel. I may speak periodically, but in a neutral way, not bashing. And this is something that really irritates me about some of the people. I don't care. Because, I watch the news and I've had people try to tell me everything in the news is not true. It's a bunch of bullshit. They're lying to us, da 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 da. And and with what I've been going through the last few months, and I'm going, okay, what is truth then? And
right.
what I'm learning from myself is the truth is that with what I'm personally seeing and with my own eyes and my own ears, okay, not hearsay or none of that shit, right? Is what I feel personally, and I don't talk politics very often, is what okay, I just got to say this as it is I know people in our community think that Trump is an angel. I'm not saying he's not, an aspect of an angel. I cannot say he's not, but his behavior and conduct and what he has done is not okay.
Right.
There's still
Yeah.
rules and laws within every country, every state, every province, because here we call them provinces, you guys call them states. And we need to abide by the rules. If we don't agree with it, what's in our control, what is not? Like we all have
Right.
to pay taxes. If we break the speed limit, we're going to get ticketed, and after a bit, we will lose our driver's license. Like it's just, I feel there needs to be some sort of structure for people because if you fucking let them go, look, no, it's not good. If you're, it just to me, and what I see, and like with all these indictments that are going down, and seeing people going, his numbers have never dropped with these 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 four different to the at this moment four different charges that he felony charges and state charges of him on corruption.
Yeah.
He's still accountable for his behavior, what he says, what he does, everything. We all are. And it just, and then with DeSantis in Florida, and by the way,
Mhm.
My incredible friend, personal friend, Deb Reed, lives in Clearwater, Florida.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
And
And I really like the biggest reason for me moving down here is energetic.
yep.
And I really, when I came here, I was just flooded with memories from Atlantis and America. And like, so I think that's a big part of it too. And then to make these connections, because it hasn't been easy moving.
Nope.
Like, we got kind of hoodwinked by the landlord, and we're not in that good of an area, and so there's been this issues, but I really feel like I'm put here by God for a reason.
Yep.
And I think I'm anchoring light in this area too. And I think that's why I was put in the middle, 'cause I'm in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So like, so I feel like I'm kind of anchoring light right here, right now. And like, I'm affecting so many people because I'm not proud of it, but I'm working at Amazon right now, and I have been for the past 8 months. And this is coming from a person like, so just 2 years ago, I'm working with the Patriot Switch to get everyone to not shop from Amazon. But then it got to a point where I had to do something, and Amazon was the best paying job that I could get. So I have to do what I have to do.
Yep.
My babies, food's going up. We eat all organic
Yep.
stuff, So I went to Amazon, but I'm affecting people at work. I'm like speaking my truth, being vulnerable, and I'm not like hiding this stuff. I'm showing them my music, or I'm talking about Gabriel Angel, the Alchemist.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What the fuck?" at first, but then they realize they can feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's really touching people, and like that just makes it worth it. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's where, and I hear you so much, and I have not worked on the outside world. I had to stop working. I went on disability back about 2011 because to cope and deal with the outside world, I couldn't do it anymore.
Right?
I just
Yeah,
couldn't do it
I don't
anymore.
blame you. I
And
feel the same.
because I don't play games, and wherever I work, and it's like yourself, we are these incredible light beings. No matter what job we do, we just carry
Right.
this amazing light, and there's people
Yes.
who are fucking jealous and envious of us.
Yeah.
They-
And
they-
also, the light reflects their shadow.
oh
So
fuck yeah.
all of their shadows, like they're seeing that in me, and they think I'm doing something to them.
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with that too on the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. But meanwhile, they're affecting our employment and our work environment by this their lack of of whatever, and I just so it's like every company has their pros and cons, but more importantly is that you still need to put fucking food on your table. You need to provide for your family. So
Right.
And that's where you're not compromising you with this.
Right.
You need to work, and
Yeah.
it's just like you're saying, it just, by being there, like I did not have this, what I'm speaking of today, I did not have this understanding back when because I didn't understand who I was, and I was just getting out of my relationship when I stopped working.
How long has it been since you guys been out of a relationship?
It's about the same time as I stopped working on the outside world. Yeah, so it's been 13 years.
Okay, I thought that's what you had said.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was around 2011, because I know that's when I started the process for applying, stopped working, was on EI, employment insurance, for a while, let that run out, and then I had to go on welfare before I could get on my disability. Like, the stupid stuff that they make us do here is that you can't, and I'm talking about the province of BC, it's not applicable for the entire country, but I'm just talking about the province of BC, that you have to be on welfare in order to apply for disability.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I recently applied for disability again. They won't give it to me.
Why?
I'm gonna have to appeal it again.
Yeah.
This time it says because I haven't worked long enough, but when I got in the car accident, I was only like 26, you know, when my hip was shattered and they had to rebuild it. And I applied for disability then, and they denied me. And I come to find out now, later, I find out like that's what they do to everybody. They deny you the first time.
Yeah.
You just got to keep trying. And I didn't really try again because I just gave up.
Yeah, well, of course, and
And
that's
that was
what,
in my addiction, so.
and that's what they count on. You'll give up. And when I say this,
Yeah.
I don't know how it works for you. There's usually, I'm talking about myself when I say this. When I went to apply for disability, and somehow I was told about this organization, this company who has people who work there that help to fill out disability forms. So I went in there with her. I told her all the information. She wrote it, typed it out for me to give to my doctor. Then my doctor fills out the application word for word, more or less, right? This application. Then I bring it back to her. She makes sure it's all done, and then she sent me to, which is right on the same premises, to a psychiatric nurse, which filled out another part of the medical thing, and I got approved. So what I'm saying, the reason why I'm sharing this is that there must be an organization that has knowledge in how to fill out these applications, how to word it a certain way for them, right?
I'm on the phone.
Hello? Are you here?
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, a call went through. My mom is like blowing my phone up right now.
So your mom?
Yeah, she had called, and I'm like, stop, like, I didn't answer the first time for a reason, and she continues to call, and now she's calling again.
Yeah. Go deal with her.
Well, I'm a
Or-
there. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That happens. So you're still in communications with your mom?
I am now. Like, yeah, and I took her in and let her live with me. And when Karen and it's been a whole
Story.
ordeal with her, but actually, she's doing a lot better. My mom has done a lot of healing, so, like, I'm really proud of her, but she can overstep the boundaries sometimes still.
Yep. You just got to put your foot down. It's like you're becoming the parent, teaching the parent how to parent.
Right.
Yep.
She went to live with my grandmother.
Oh, shit.
That, like, brought a whole, it healed. It brought some healing to both of them.
Wow.
Because my grandma's a big mirror for her.
Yeah.
And now when grandma does things to her, I'm like, you did that to me, Mom. You still do that shit.
Yeah.
You know, and then she's able to really see herself.
Wow.
And then start to heal. So my grandma's doing a little healing too, but she's Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, fuck. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like, well, I'm happy to hear that your mom is, I guess the word, starting to do her work. Right? Because I have no doubt that if she wasn't willing to do the work, you couldn't hang around with her at all or let her in at all. And I think that's the sad part about most parents, and you know, it's what we are going through is we are healing generations and generations.
Yeah.
By you doing your work, me doing my work. Like, I don't have any. I stopped. See here, my father is a belligerent, alcoholic asshole. Really bad when he's drinking, but he's still a narcissist, belligerent asshole.
Either one. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Now she's calling my son. Evan says, Grandma says call her.
Persistent little bugger, isn't she?
Right?
Oh my
I'll
God.
call her back when we're done and see what's going on. But my dad was it's belligerent asshole too,
Yep.
drunk.
Yeah, and I didn't talk to my father for 17 years, and then, I don't know, it was the last 10 years, whatever it was, I started talking to him a little bit. But I think the sad part is, for me, and my mother died in 91, for me, the more work I do, the more understanding I have, and able to see the dysfunction in my entire family. I have two brothers. One I've not talked to in 30 plus years. The other one I've not talked to in 5, 7 years, something like that. Like, I can't talk to people. It's not about their siblings. It's not about that. It's about they don't see me as me. They have their idealisms of who I am.
Yep, their own story
Yeah,
happened to me with my family too.
yeah. And it's like, no.
They won't accept it, and it's almost like if they accept it, it like takes something from them. They feel
Yeah,
or something like.
one of the things that really hurt for my brother when I put out my album in 2002. Of course, I sent my dad a copy, even though I wasn't talking to him, but I made sure he got a copy of my album. My brother Ron, who lives in Calgary, he got a copy, and then this is years later. I mean, years later, and Ron's dating this woman. I can't remember what her name is, and we're talking, and her and I hit it off right off the bat. And I said to her about me having an album. Well, you got an album? I said, yeah. And it really hurt to think that my brother, who talks about so much stuff, doesn't even talk about his sister, who's an incredible guitar player and has an album. And him and this woman have been together for like 3 years at this point. So it's like this part of me, which is, it is me, but it's a huge part of who I am, is my music. And no acknowledgement at all. And that fucking hurt. I'm not going to deny that. And so I don't know if I ever sent her a copy, but I said, Ron has my album there. And do you want to see my album, my first album cover? I'm gonna flick it.
Yeah, for sure. Nice. I love it. I love how the expressions it's in the guitar.
Yeah, Expression, Me, Myself, and I. And the only reason why the word expression's there, my album's called Me, Myself, and I. But I had this person that was in my life then. She goes, well, that's very egotistical type thing. So she planted that seed, and I'm going, okay, what word could go in there? And I said, expressions of me, myself, and I, which was fine. I could live with that, personally. And so the expressions of is gone now. And that's me back my gold wing that I had. And of course, there's my Ernie doll.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and this is, I've had, for the same album, I now have 3 covers. This is the second cover for it that was redone.
Oh, that's beautiful. Is it the ocean?
Yep. Do you know Prince Edward Island? PEI?
I don't think so.
Did you ever hear the story or a series called Anne of Green Gables? There's been movies and okay. Anyway, Anne of Green Gables. Her name is Lucy Maud Montgomery, who wrote the book, and she was born and raised in Prince Edward Island. Like right now, when I say this, if you look at a map where you're at, this is how come I'm so used to time zones across North America. By the way, this is now my new album cover.
Oh, wow.
And guess who did this last year for me?
Who?
Marina.
Really?
Yep. She became my
Beautiful.
She did that, and these
You're talking about Marina, the one with
Govier. Yep. And this is now the album cover for my first meditation album, Instrumental Silence. And this is the new cover for the new album. The other meditation. So when I speak about PEI, going back to PEI,
Yes, hold on.
if you go east of Maine, right, you'll cross over the border into Canada, into New Brunswick, and which is a province, the far east. So it's farther east than you are. In fact, it's another time zone. Then if you look at New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and you look between them, you'll see a little island, which only has about 150,000 people on the entire island, which is called Prince Edward Island, PEI. That's where I was born and raised at, which is the far, far east coast of Canada.
Wow.
So that beach that you saw is Cavendish Beach. That's where that is. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I'm from there, and I now live on the far, far west coast of Canada. One extreme to the other, but yeah.
I feel like we're connected to the land.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where we're born and stuff.
Yeah, we are, and I'll always be connected to PEI. I haven't been home in 32, 33 years, right? But I think there's something about where we're born at and raised at that is always going to be home, no matter what.
Right, yeah.
It will always be, but my soul belongs here on the West Coast.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's
I
where
feel you there too.
yeah, and so yeah. So I got a feeling you need to go. Do you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up dinner here,
Okay.
but we need to talk again soon.
Yeah, and I'm always doing stuff. Yes, and we all are. But I'm usually available anytime, and I'll say that for you. I'm available almost
Right.
anytime.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
Same here.
And
All right.
so let's do this again pretty darn soon, pretty darn quick.
Yes.
And I'm glad that we've connected. I'm glad I found you. I'm glad you found me.
Yes, me too.
Anyway, blessings, sister.
Yes.
We'll chat soon now. I'm going to go back onto a live and share some music because that's what I was doing. That's why I didn't answer. I was,
Oh, really?
yeah, because I need sometimes just to do something, and that's how I do it.
Yes.
And that's why
Well, let's think about the collab too.
yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you come up with anything, you can send me. We can talk about that, and then I can add to it, or however we want to do
yeah.
it.
And I have one more question before you go. I cannot play in 440. I can't anymore. I tried it last year at Soulogy Fest, tuned my guitar up to 440. I could not play my music.
Yeah,
So-
I hear you.
So, because I presume you play in 440?
No.
No?
Well, I tune my guitar down.
Oh, I know you're tuning. I know that, but I'm talking about the frequency. Do you okay, I'm just going to ask this question outright. Do you understand the difference between 440 and 432? Do you know what it is? What it means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in 2017, I was taking an intuitive development program, and this woman's guides told her to tell me to tune my guitar to 432. I have not looked back, and I can't look back. There's something about the
So
frequency.
how are you doing that then? Just with tuning it, or?
I have this tuner, which allows me, keyword, allows me, I can choose 440, I can even choose 528 with this tuner. So I'm able to adjust this tuner. I'll turn it on here. There we go.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna look up a tuner then.
Okay,
I've been tuning it down, so I think it gets closer to the 432, but it's probably not precise. So I'm gonna look more into
Okay.
it. Everything that I've done so far has been within the program though.
yeah.
But I definitely need to,
Okay, I'll send you, I'll take a snapshot of the photo of the box for this tuner, because not all tuners you can adjust to tune into 432. Because
Right,
most of them
okay.
are they stick with 440. Very quickly in the early 1900s, the government worldwide, all the government, the main government, not all governments, but all the main government, decided take all the music from around the world and upped it to 440 to irritate the crap out of people. Very
Yeah.
simply put. And that's, you know, so I tune in 432. Just want to let you know that. I'll take a snapshot of the box. So you know, because
Yes.
you want to be able to get a tuner that allows you the flexibility to tune whatever frequency you want to be able to tune in.
Right.
That has
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do
Absolutely.
with D tuning or E tuning or any of that. That's a separate
Right.
thing.
Okay.
This is just I could use the term the pitch of the guitar.
Okay.
All right, is instead of being standard 440, you're bringing it down to 432, which is the heart frequency.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
I'll leave it as that. I know you got kids, you got to go feed the monsters. I'm using the monsters very lovingly, of course. I love you dearly, my beautiful
I
sister.
love you.
And
I'm so glad we connected.
oh, I am so glad too. I am so elated. And go deal with your family. And hugs and love. Say hi to your partner for me. And I look forward to getting to know her as well.
Yes. I'll talk to you soon. We'll
Okay.
stay in touch.
For sure. Okay, bye. Oh, by the way, hold on. Sorry. Whoop. Hi. Yes, I meant to mention this to you. I appreciate you sharing a lot of these artists and their music with me. I just can't handle too much at this time with that stuff. I'm going to be very honest. I've listened to some of them if I'm able to listen to them, and that's where you see the heart is to acknowledge that. But I have to be very careful how much I bring in of other people's works, and not saying it's not important. You know that. I just too much stimulation with everything I'm going through. I keep my I keep my intake very low when it comes to other people's work. And I so appreciate you wanting to share these incredible artists that you know, but I do need to ask you to just, if it's really incredible, like off the charts, yes, send it to me. But just, you know, I can't handle too much these days with everything I'm going through, which you are aware of now. But I just wanted to say that. Anyway, hugs and loves.